Saturday afternoon footy comes here from the MCG. It's Carlton and Melbourne. Robert Walls after a massive week for Melbourne. A new coach in Todd Viney. Of course, last time these two sides, they were accused indirectly of playing bruise-free footy. What do you think this afternoon? Carlton obviously will be a little wary.
Well, they will be, Hutto, but Carlton's been in pretty good form, and I think that they'll expect Melbourne to come out, hit them pretty hard, particularly in the first 15 minutes. If they can withstand that, the Blues, and I think they can, you'd expect them to win the game. But look, the Melbourne Football Club's been in turmoil all week. Having a look at the Carlton lineup, Henderson again at fullback in the place of Jamison. And the Melbourne line-up there, and we can see that there's a lot of young players. They had a dozen last week who'd played under 50 senior games. I think there's 11 in that team today who've played under 50, so it's a very inexperienced line-up.
All right, let's head to the opening bounce and see if the Demons can fire a shot or two under Todd Viney.
Underway here at the MCG. Warnock decisively though. Scully did well. Gawn couldn't control it. Murphy tried to crash through the tackle, gets it to Tui. Now advantage paid to Simpson, to Gibbs. Early forward thrust by the Blues. Beautiful kick onto the chest of Thornton by Gibbs. And is that 50 metres? No, says the umpire. And Brett Thornton with the first opportunity. Now he decides instead to go short, and Robinson, who started inside the centre square, drifting inside the attacking 50. And you don't want to see that as a first defensive effort from Melbourne, letting a player just drift into space inside the attacking 50.
No certainty this being a goal. He's got about a 50-50 strike rate, has Mitch Robinson, from this distance and this angle, so don't mark it in your record just yet.
In fact, 2-5 from set shots this year. Make that 3-5, and a great early blow to the Blues.
Well, that's pretty important for Mitch Robinson to get that goal, because there's no doubt that the Melbourne players, well, you'd hope, Malcolm, that some of the Melbourne players would be into his ear, because when they played last time, it was Robinson who the day after on radio said, well, they played bruise-free footy. And I reckon if you're a proud footballer, that would stick in your mind, and you'd want to make sure that he didn't walk off the ground today thinking that.
No, and the other thing, I think Maloney and him were pushing at the start of the game, and Maloney was nowhere near him then when he got the short pass. So it's all right to push, but also got to play the game.
So not the ideal start, it's fair to say, for the Demons. Opening goal taking less than 2 minutes.
Oh.
Lovely tap, Warnock to Gibbs. Quite get the next one right. And Maloney's able to insert himself into the game and finds Lyndon Dunn. Still more than a kick out from goal. Watts playing out of the square. Going to double back. Well, it might go even further than that. He might shepherd it through. Just touched.
Now, Yaron to do the kicking in. Carlton have got Thornton playing deep forward with Cruiser up in the forward 50. So Thornton often named in defence, but playing more as a forward these days.
Scotland in the back pocket. What a wonderful season Heath Scotland's had for the Blues. Certainly would have to be in all-Australian contentions. He drives it long. Thornton the target, and just slipped around McDonald. McDonald too worried about the man. Judd. Jones hit it hard. Judd, good tackle by Dunn. Robinson knocked off it. Good tough start this by Melbourne. They're throwing their bodies in. Dunn a little kick. Davey back in the side this afternoon. Couldn't handle it. Judd could. Laidler scrambles a kick under pressure to the wing. Walker tried to tap it to Warnock. Now a chance for Gawn. It's a long way down. Bartram shovels it out. Scully. McDonald had more time than he thought, but he kicks inside attacking 50. Green, marked and/or free kick.
Good effort by Green, Chriso, because it was a free kick, but he's marked it anyway.
And there's Nathan Jones hitting Robinson hard. And 50 metres here.
50 metres, Lyndon.
There's the effort by Green, desperate. And 50 metres and just blowing up on the attacking 50. No doubt Melbourne fired up. Brad Green kicks the goal. So Melbourne in front, they lead by a point, and their intent pretty good, Rob.
Well, I just like the way that Jones hit in there on Mitch Robinson. That was good. I also like the effort of the captain, Green. It was a free kick, but he willed himself to the front of the contest, took the mark anyway. He's playing on young Davies there.
So let's have a look. Warnock went into Lyndon Dunn, and that's what the 50 was for. So Brad Green pretty happy tonight to have the shot from outside 40 metres, instead drilling it through for a goal, and Melbourne take the lead, which is a nice place to be after what happened last week. Allard tries to respond for the Blues. Judd gets it in deep and quickly, and Cruiser marks strongly and definitively in front of Rivers.
Now, watching this lad as he comes back from his knee injury, Rob, I mean, we're all in love with Cruiser. I reckon he could be an 80-goal full forward, you know, maybe even, you know, I mean, he's got all the attributes of a good player.
I don't disagree with you. I think that, look, he probably needs this year to get full confidence in that knee of his, but he can play as a quality forward and as a ruckman, even as a centre-half back.
From 35 out, shows that he can kick the goals, and the Blues back in front. I'm interested to hear you say that, Blighty. I wasn't so sure that that was everyone's view, that he could be a genuine key forward, more pinch hitter, but you think he could be a genuine man?
The other thing I can see is that he actually gets ground balls. He can find his own ball on the ground. So that, I mean, for a guy that size, to find his own ground ball is just a fantastic acquisition.
Cruiser kicks Carlton's second goal, and they are dominating out of the centre. Robbie Warnock having a real impact against Gond. So let's see what happens on this occasion. Warnock again directs it, this time to Gibbs, who kicks around the body to the vacant half-forward position. Thornton, well done by McDonald. Good desperate stuff at ground level by Robinson, and eventually the ball over. Boundary throw in half-forward for the Blues.
And Brock McLean playing for Carlton. He's missed most of the season, coming back into the team last week. He'll be at ground level at this contest against his old team.
16 disposals and 9 tackles for McLean last week. Now Maloney's got it, but going nowhere. A bounce.
Still a lot of niggle going on, Rob. There's just blokes running into each other. They've certainly started in a way that says we're here to play footy. That's the Melbourne club I'm talking about.
Well, you wouldn't expect anything less after the week they've had.
Dunn trying to clamp down on Murphy there. There's another free kick, though. It's going the other way.
Yeah. Go, mate. I've got it here.
And it's going to, looks like it's going to come back to Jordan Gisberts. Too high. He goes short. He had 18 disposals last week, by the way, Gisberts, but his efficiency wasn't so good. This opens up a nice channel for them through the middle of the ground. Strauss with good depth, and Watts out to take the mark. Now, at least he's playing on Henderson. It's not like he's playing on a 200-game chiseled veteran.
And Lockie Henderson paid the price of taking his eyes off the ball. Can we watch it here? You can see he's not looking. You can see Henderson just looking at his opponent. It's Watts who turns around, tracks the flight of the ball. And no good blaming your teammates there, young man. You've got to keep your eye on the footy.
Henderson and Diagon really been into Jack Watts at the start of the game, so a good response by the Melbourne forward, boys.
17 disposals and 7 marks last week. Jack Watts has kicked 17 goals, 8 for the season. Looks like he's got the key forward role this afternoon. Needs to make them count. Needs to do better than that. It's a bad miss. And the Blues remain in front.
Gee, Carlton forwards all huddling in the centre circle while this kick-in's getting ready to come into play. You can see at the back of the picture there, looking to make space out in the flanks.
So Murphy now in the back pocket. Beautiful kick. The run of Tui.
And that's exactly what they wanted, Chriso. The Carlton forward, space to lead into out wide.
And that's exactly what Betts did. So Eddie Betts on centre wing towards half forward. At the back, Simpson with the leap, but fisted away by Trengove. And a boundary throw in half forward for the Blues. So look at the tackles, early tackles showing Melbourne's intent. 7-2. Well done by Martin in front. Now high tackle on McKenzie.
Just getting in underneath, aren't they? A couple of cheap free kicks, Rob. Just around those stoppages. That's good.
So McKenzie now at half back. Not too much on down the ground. Now Watts versus Henderson's probably as good as any. He decides to ignore that and go back to full back. To Frawley, who drives to the southern side. McDonald's got to make it a contest. He did. Ground level. Beautifully done by the D's. Howe, Garland, back to McDonald. Oh, he takes on Betts. Be careful. Tapscott, they're closing in here, the Blues. McDonald needs to be precise, and Garland marks half back.
And just pokes the kick up to the wing. It's all right for Scully. He takes the mark, turns on the left. He's averaged 26 disposals in his matches at the MCG this year, Scully. As Watts finds Jones in some space. Green leads one way. Decides to go more direct towards full forward. Dunn engaging. Digan, and he took the mark. Well done. Outpointed him. He spent a lot of time up forward as well as on the ball over the years, Lyndon Dunn, and showed those attributes there and should be able to convert and put Melbourne in front.
Nice build-up. They had about 4 or 5 marks, just backed each other with their foot passing, and then we saw the long kick forward by Jones. Just the strength of Lyndon Dunn there to hold Digan out, and Digan is a strong-bodied player, so that is a very good effort by the Demons.
Not happy with himself, Nick Digan. It was almost as if he was just caught unawares a fraction there. His body wasn't in a position to brace strong enough, and Dunn made the most of it, but to really capitalise, needs to deliver. And there's a couple of bad early misses, that worse than the last. 1-3-9 to 2 straight 12.
Todd Viney, first afternoon as Melbourne coach.
Just wondered, Rob, during the week I've watched all the interest with Todd. Said I really don't want this full time, but if you won the last 5 or 6 games and played in finals, you might want it, mightn't you?
You might get a taste for it.
Allard takes it off hands to Murphy. Handball missed the mark, but Simpson will get there. Murphy kept running. Great stuff from Mark Murphy. Now deep. Good chance for Betts. Well done by McDonald. Was able to do enough. Now ball spilling free and over for a rush behind to Carlton.
And a good effort there by Thornton to lock down 2 Demon defenders. He has. He's got one around the neck.
Yeah, one around the head. That was Strauss.
Does he get
2 tackles?
2 tackles, yeah.
Well, you should.
It's a double. Frawley heads to half back. Rivers, Watts, both involved, getting good strong stuff through the packs. Now Watts feels the heat from all angles. Has to go again. Trengove gets out the back. Pettard, everyone's involved for the Demons. And so is the umpire.
Demons got Aaron Davey playing as a permanent forward, and that's interesting because Davey has played most of the last 2 seasons as a midfielder coming through half-back, but he's only kicked 4 goals this year. I think they need him up forward.
So Judd poking it into the pocket, and that will give them a chance to reset. I'm with you, Wolsey. I think that's a good place for him to play. They'll obviously bring him up the ground at some stages during the game, but he started as a sneaky forward who could apply good pressure, didn't he?
Oh, he was a terrific player. I reckon he was one of the first small forwards, Hunter, going back about 8 years ago, to really put that forward pressure on.
Now, Frawley's feeling some forward pressure. Trengove's there, and so is Maloney. Stephen Martin, Betts, and Walker. He had a moment there, and that moment has passed. And the Demons dig in. McKenzie, McDonald saw a couple, but not the third. Wayward handball. Allard from Simpson. High ball. And it's,
well done.
In the end, good courage shown by the Demon defence. And Luke Tapscott, who's had a little bit of it early, taking the mark.
So Tapscott short, loose player. Bartram still inside defensive 50. Now he's got someone breaking to the wing. That's Howe. Big lead, man. Hit the ground running. This is a good build-up. Very open forward 50 for the Ds. As Dunn comes towards him. Players, and certainly Carlton midfielders, hurrying to get back inside the defensive 50. As Dunn kicks into the pocket, back towards Howe. Can't control it. Boundary throw-in.
Watching that game last week as we watched this build-up, this lad is a terrific mark, and I think he's going to be a player. He was one that could actually hold his head a little bit high last week after that debacle.
So ball to the back, chance for Martin, little fumble. Now all Melbourne here, although Walker arrives quickly to put pressure on Jones. Got the handball off to Garland, wide to McDonald. So with that slow build-up, Carlton have been able to get numbers back. So the kick forced into the pocket, and was that an arm chop? No, says the umpire. And again, Howe presenting, but Yaron did well enough to see it over. Boundary throw in the pocket. And there's the spoil from Yaron. Umpire said it was okay.
So the numbers swelling deep in Melbourne's attack. Howe coming through again. Couldn't take the footy with him. McKenzie finds Yaron too difficult an obstacle.
And McKenzie got the tagging job on Mark Murphy.
Murphy with 4 disposals so far. McKenzie, the only man to get over 20 touches last week. Had 25 for the Ds. Dunn being watched there by Dygan. Martin over the top with the tap. Here's Howe again. The footy's finding him quite a lot at the moment as Chris Judd works it out the back to Allard. Judd already with 6 touches. Allard's kick on the wing. Well done, McDonald. Steely stuff from the Demons. Rode a couple and kept on going, Joel McDonald. Now Garland shapes the kick. More Blues there than Demons. They're still in the contest, though. Scully, he's met heavily by Walker. They all mean business out there. Dunn gives Green a big chance on his wrong side and knew it. Nathan Jones is on the right side, but he too sprays it. Davey might still be able to get it against Davies. And the ball is over and out.
Gee, they've had about 3 chances to kick goals, the Demons, and blown them. But they're in the contest and making a good fist of it.
That was great work from Joel McDonald. Rode the bump and then was able to find the ball in the forward pocket. Here's Lyndon Dunn. Snap out of the pack is just missing to the left. So they've certainly had their opportunities, Melbourne. 1-4. Carlton a 2-1.
Inside 50 count, 6-4 in favour of the Demons.
3 behinds to Lyndon Dunn.
Chris Yarran the responsibility and decides to bomb for Laidler, who was forced to reverse the roles there and actually spoil on Jones. So we'll call that a win for Melbourne. It's over and out in their forward half. There's Lyndon Dunn. 6 disposals, 2 behind so far. Warnock involved. There's McKenzie.
Gibbs in picture. Kicked 4 goals for Carlton last week. They're playing him a little bit more as a forward.
Here's the wrestle again. Big Gawn over the top. Tui was able to track it. Decides at the last moment to handball, and you can see the result.
Well, for all this effort Melbourne have put in this last 5 or 6 minutes, they really do need a goal.
Half forward, Warnock. Forward in the direction of Judd, taken by McLean. Now Laidler around the body towards the wing. McDonald again got in front position, couldn't take it this time. Robinson, McLean against his old club. Back to Robinson, good kick to the advantage of Gibbs. Yeah, he wants to bring it inside the corridor. Scotland providing the run. Here's an opportunity, normally uses it brilliantly. Now a chance at the back. Betts involved, Melbourne desperate, Garland paddling. Joseph taken. Was he taken high by Davey? No, says the umpire. Bounce 48 metres from Carlton's goal.
Straight back here, guys. Straight back, guys.
Carlton fans have just watched the replay. Reckon it was a free kick. Well done, Bartram. Trengove jammed it on the boot. Now here's a duel. Martin gets the benefit of a good bounce. Now he kicks in front of Watts. Foot race. Yarran covering the turf superbly. Watts needs to prop here. Keep your feet, son. Is he held without it? No, says the umpire. Keep your feet, Jack. Now the umpire comes in. He says, play on. They arrive in numbers. And eventually, Tui, did he get into the back of Gisbert's? Plucked somehow by Pettit to Martin. Can he bring it back? He kicks it out on the full.
Gee.
I think Jack Watts was actually being held up then, wasn't he? He was trying to go to ground and get a free for in the back. Smart play not to fall on his back by Yarran. It's good stuff. But another opportunity blown at goal. Melbourne.
Yeah, they've had some chances. I thought it was a fantastic contest. I would have just socketed away a little bit and just try and stop you from going. Get a hold of the man. That was on. Dead set on.
And that was flirting with danger. McLean and Jones. Jones got an annoying fist in there, and it's over and out.
Yeah, just a little toe poke away then from Jack Watts. Yarran couldn't have seen the ball, and he would have held on.
So again they circle here, the Demons. Gawn, Warnock. Spits out the back, Gibbs away and out. So we're beyond the halfway point of the first quarter. 2 goals to 1. Demons right in it. Warnock able to get it down. Gisbert's copped it high.
And the Blues a bit worried with an extra man in defence, that being Thornton.
So Gisbert's called to play on. Kick towards Gawn, who comes out, but getting in front, Scotland.
He's having a great season, Heath Scotland, and that's one of his strengths, his overhead marking for a medium-sized player. He's been sensational.
Off to the loping Henderson, who kicks towards Cruiser. Well done by Rivers. Front and centre though, Murphy gathers the crumb. Bartram, great tackle. There wasn't anything down the ground for Mark Murphy. That's why he had to try and buy some time. Play on now as Jones. Can he find a target? Yes, his captain, Brad Green, 40 from goal. Slight angle.
It's got to be a goal, this, Malcolm. With all the chances that they've had, they have to make sure they put one through the big sticks.
That was wonderful work from Bartram, but as I said, Murphy had no one on down the ground, and that's why he had to try and invent something sideways, and in the end, nabbed. Put the D's in front, the captain, Brad Green.
Just Brett Rapp must have a high opinion of Davies, playing him on Green.
Yes.
He's been in great form, Green, but he's only a youngster.
Yeah, he played on Aaron Edwards last week at North Melbourne, basically as Carlton's centre half back, and Davies, 7 senior games to his credit, so he is giving him big responsibility.
Clean kick into Dygan. You know what you were saying, Blighty, about Todd Viney might want to start in coach. If they kick like this at goal, he won't want to. Frustrating, isn't it? 1 goal, 5. What's the 54, Chriso?
Max Gawn ran into the area zone, and too close to Nick Dygan, and as a consequence, you can see Gawn there, much too close to Dygan, so 50 metres.
Dumped it with Yaron. Up to the 50. McLean wasn't the best of handball. Robinson had time to sort it all out in his head. Got a hurried kick away. Cruiser, good strong body position. Was trying desperately to hang on. Howe getting back to help out. And on the way out, the Demons can run. And here's Pettard to give them a bit of zip. Off half back, and Pep down to what has to be a free kick against Joseph, who cuddled him, and he played on. Got it to Davey now. This is the all-important one. Decides not to panic. Watts, blind turn around, no one, but it was still around McLean, and he heads towards goal. It's coming back. It deserved a goal, and it got there in front.
Blind turn, love him. Let's bring him back.
That's Eric Rivers down there in a heap. Strauss, we believe.
Now here's the injury to Strauss. His left leg just crumbled beneath him. So
I think he might have broken his leg, you know.
Ankle?
Ankle or leg, it just looks awful. That angle, that's awful.
He has broken his leg. Yep.
He's broken his leg. There's Watts doing the blind turn. I think he saw Brock McLean and said, I could get around you. But James Strauss is in real trouble. Well, that'll be in his highlights tape. And he needs to play well because Jarrah's not out there today.
So Warnock does it himself this time. Long inside, attacking 50. Ball to the back. Thorner tries to knock it over to Walker. Frawley close in attendance. Frawley does well. Sees it over. Boundary throw in. Half forward. Between half forward and the pocket for the Blues. James Frawley, runner-up best and fairest last year for the D's. All-Australian, of course. Warnock, she's dominating the hit-outs. In the absence of Jamer, Frawley again. Gets boot to ball. Gisberts kept the arms clear. Petted. Good pressure by the Blues in their forward 50. Frawley again. Scully, little fumble. Great pickup. Judd. Goal, Ellard.
Just the bash and crash of Judd. Chriso set it up.
Wonderful work by the Carlton forward half. There's Chris Judd. He was part of it, but the pressure they were able to exert on the Melbourne defence in the end was too much. And there's the error, and again Judd getting it to Ellard.
3 efforts there by Judd to bash and crash the ball forward.
Chris Judd's 3 efforts here and then the handball out. I'm not sure that I've seen a player, I'm sure there's been some, as consistent as him over the ball with his head down.
So 3-1 to 2-5. Here's Murphy. Had to go off the ground in the end as he couldn't get the clean pick up. And that's a little bit of a response to the pressure they're being applied by the Demons, who are having a real crack here. Dunn, bait the subs on. Bartram, clean pair of heels. To Green, he looks likely to mark. couldn't do it. Well done, Davies. Maloney is leading the backup crew. Jones could have handballed to Peddard. Tumbling punt instead to the top of the square. Henderson, is he doing enough? He is apparently. It's a baller. Instant 1-2. And Yaron with Howe circling. Forced to concede.
So 1 point ball game. Melbourne 8 scoring shots to Carlton's 4. The Blues by a point. And stepped outside the 10-metre square, or rectangle as it is, against Yaron, so we'll get a bounce. Umpire Vozzo right on the spot. And as we look at this, and foot's got to be behind the line. So fair enough.
How come the ball can be on the line and in, and your foot can't be? Is there an anomaly in our game?
Yes, that's not the only one, Malcolm, I can tell you that. Martin wins it down. Murphy.
Yours, mate.
Hoists it high towards half-back. Oh, Joseph over the top. Don't see Aaron Joseph take too many big marks, Rob, but he did on that occasion.
Eddie's name written all over it. He had the nice run at it.
Murphy coughs it up under pressure. Maloney searching for an option. Finds one in Frawley. Delays the handball to McKenzie, who drives it deep towards the goal square. Breen through his hands. Numbers with the Blues. Daigan, not too much to go to. He decides to kick towards half-back. Well done, Frawley. Couldn't hold on. Judd, brilliant pickup. So clean with his hands. Yaron, great speed. Evasive skills. Confronted by Garland, gets the handball to McLean, coughs it up, wasn't a great handball, put him under the pump, Garland's got it, and taken high, so Colin Garland with the free kick, just the attacking side of the wing for Melbourne.
Thought Yaron thought about having a bounce then, and I think he's under instructions not to have too many bounces, so he hesitated.
Garland wobbles one, gives him another crack at it. Oh, Howe's dragged it down. He looks a likely type, bloody.
Yeah, I do like him. He wants to get his own footy, and he's good in the air. Here's that mark from Joseph from behind. It's the highest I've seen him get too, I think.
Tell you who's in the horrors at the moment for the Blues in that back line. That's Nick Daigan.
Yeah, he seems out of sorts, doesn't he?
He is out of sorts, and he's not happy, and he's looking around at other teammates, and I just think you need to take responsibility for yourself.
So, Jeremy Howe, 21 years of age, threads it right through, and Melbourne are back in front. They've made a great start. And it could be better if they'd kick straight. And look, there's another example of their aggressive intent.
Look at that. It's a great read from this young fella. See how quickly he picked up the flight of that floaty ball, better than anyone else. That is a great asset to have. That's a genuine forward, I reckon.
There's Jack Watts, and Melbourne back in front by 5 points. Watts having a very good opening quarter. And finally getting some rewards. Still a good 3 minutes after the long delay with James Strauss going down. And a secondary bounce.
Chris Judd's had 8 disposals for the Blues. Murphy 6. He's on the bench at the moment. McDonald and Dunn. There's Lyndon Dunn with Judd. 7 for Melbourne.
Hold the arm, Melbourne, free kick.
So, oh, gee, gave it to Jones, who was under the pump as he pushed in the back by Garlett. No, he got it back to Gawn, and Big Max, he's just struggled a couple of times today. Just got a pat on the back there from McKenzie. Keep going, he said.
I think he was gone then.
Yeah, but the handball was, I mean, you've got to say something. I mean, Jones should have known he was bloody cold.
McKenzie missed. Paddled for by Scully. Tui for Carlton. Gets some good purchase on the ball towards half forward, but Garland read it well.
Garland playing on Eddie Betts. Interesting matchup that. Much bigger player than Eddie, but Eddie, for a little fella, marks strongly overhead.
So to half forward now. Bate going back and fisted over, so a boundary throw in on centre wing. Strauss did have that job early on Betts, with him off the ground. Throws a challenge to Garland. So Cruiser props in front. Gibbs, the outside of the right boot towards centre half forward. Well done by McDonald in turn, but Betts roved it superbly across to Walker, and Walker makes no mistake. Carlton back in front by a point. And that was the little fist from Thornton. Outstanding stuff. And when they have gone forward, Carlton have looked very dangerous.
Good team goal this. Have a look at the effort of Thornton. Taps it to the advantage of Fast Eddie. Unselfishly gives it across to Walker. The Carlton forward line's really strong. Their midfield's really strong. Their weakness is their back line. Keep saying it all the time, but if their midfield gets on top, the ball doesn't go down into their back line, so the pressure's off. So it's vital for Carlton that their midfield get on top, because then their back line isn't exposed.
Well, Garland's had 7 disposals of his own, and he drives it up to the wing, and Gawn shows his marking prowess using his height advantage. And Murphy on the mark there. Quite a difference along the line. Was that the free kick against Henderson? I think it might have been.
Well, there's a couple of Carlton defenders, Henderson and Dygan, who are in the absolute horrors in this first quarter.
So Trengove not quite within range. Green, the captain, calls for it long. Martin's going to set himself also. Falls in between. Pennant climbed high. Not able to drag it down. Nifty little handball from Joseph away to Cruiser. But that is quickly shut down by Luke Tapscott. And he can send it straight back in there again if he so desires.
He kicks it a long way, Tapscott.
You're not suggesting, are you, Michael?
It's a little bit too far.
Let's have a look.
Roost.
It's going to go right to the line, almost beyond. And in the end, it probably made it a bit too easy for the Carlton defence. Scores level.
11 players each team with under 50 games experience, so a lot of young fellas out there learning their craft.
Carlton away here. Garlett with electrifying speed. He takes on McDonald nonchalantly, juggles it as he goes. Where will he go now? From 55, kicks into the pocket to his great mate Eddie Betts, feeds it off. Well done. Ellard kicks the goal.
Well,
unbelievable coast-to-coast stuff there, Malcolm.
Paint the picture, Malcolm. How good was that?
I thought he needed petrol at the end with a kick, but it bounced beautifully, didn't it, for Betts? But that's actually taking the game on. And Rob, you said something about he shouldn't have too many bounces. I hope he keeps bouncing it forever. Well, it is exciting. I mean, that is modern footy at its best, I reckon. It's as exciting as you get.
And the 3 good mates all part of it. Yaron put the kick in. Jeffy Garlett said, well, I'll run. Have a look at after this. How long does he carry the footy?
Fair way.
Oh, that's holding the ball. And then, of course, little Eddie's part of it.
Can't do that.
I reckon he carried it 25, 30 metres.
Have a look.
Enough for a rest anyway. Blues by a goal as we close in on quarter time. Maloney crunch, Cruiser follow-up work with great determination to Murphy. The give, and he keeps on coming to try and receive it, maybe from Yaron. No, Yaron decides to go by foot to McLean. Then to Murphy. Then the next piece in the puzzle. Squeezing the kick to Betts, and he's going to line them up on the siren.
Disappointing, isn't it? Because Melbourne had a 5-point advantage. Betts kicks this goal.
Oh, no, he doesn't. It's passed instead, and it'll be Thornton right on the bell.
Well, that was a dangerous kick.
It was a dangerous kick with 3 seconds to go. I think if he had known that, he wouldn't have done it. But let's see if Brett Thornton can put one through. He's only kicked 16 goals in his long career of 177 games, but that's because most of those games have been played in the back line.
8 goals, 6 this year, Brett Thornton.
Set shots, 5 goals, 5. So big task for him here.
And it would just give them a nice little advantage, and one, as you mentioned, which would be really disappointing for Melbourne, who spent quite a bit of the first quarter in front, or nearly in front. It's a goal, and Carlton have a 2-goal advantage at quarter time.
Well, they do, Hutto, but I reckon Melbourne should be pretty proud of their effort in that first term. They had plenty of it, put it into their forward line, and they are being competitive, which is the main thing.
Second quarter is underway from the MCG. It's Carlton by 12 points.
Chance for Mackenzie or Trengo fighting his teammate for the footy and winning that contest and been pinged, and I think that had something to do with the fact that the two Melbourne players had the footy together. Gibbs wide, looking for Thornton, provided a good target in the opening quarter. Garland fell, allowing Thornton to get it up to Simpson. Non-dominant side, the right foot kick fisted away by Frawley. Front and centre, Judd, well tackled. Ellard, 2 goals in the opening quarter. Walker, he's well tackled, and the ball not coming out, so a bounce half forward for the Blues.
David Allard kicked 2 goals for Carlton in that first quarter. Very much a much underrated player. Plays in the midfield, does tagging jobs, can be creative.
Judd, Gibbs kicked 4 last week, tries to share this one, but Scully in the way. Off to Maloney. Now wide. This will be a contest. As the ball's kicked towards the wing. Well done by Howe. Just around Dygan too easily. Got nowhere to go long, so needs to go short to Maloney, who kept going. Collision coming up. Both players attacked it hard. Gibbs, McLean, now the silky Yaron. Wide, invented the kick towards Ellard, and he'll gather. He's got support inside from Garlett. Coming across, Tapp's got the ball. Dispossessed Garlett. Walker, though, provided help. Now Judd, 50 from goal. Kicks to the top of the goal square. Thornton's got the best position. Well done, Garland. Handball off to Rivers. Now to Jones, and Melbourne out of trouble.
Good like circle work at the moment as they go around again. Dunn takes them to half forward. Watts will be outnumbered here. Laidler fully committed. Did well to bounce back to his feet. Watts never was put off guard, but Laidler's determination saw the ball over and out. He thought maybe Jack Watts he was being held on to.
I thought Watts was pretty good then too. Made a real contest of that.
Well, he's been outnumbered several times, but he's given them a presence up forward. Jack Watts gone, pushed off it by Warnock. Laidler's on top of it here. The umpire decided no, it's a ball up. So 6-1 to 3-7. Still that 2-goal margin. Warnock down to Judd. So mainly handballs today, but he gets into the clear to kick at that time to Ellard. Judd up to 4 kicks and 7 handballs. Ellard uses Gibbs. He's also been prominent, also on 11 touches for the Blues.
Few boos there for Brock McLean, the ex-Demon.
Yeah. And he lets rip to half forward. Thornton puts himself in front and gets the reward. Gives to Murphy, charging through the flank in the Betts direction. Tapp's got his opponent. Betts beat himself there by dropping the mark. Let's have another look at that lovely tap a moment ago from Warnock down to Judd.
17 hitouts already to Robbie Warnock. He is absolutely dominated in the ruck, and giving his midfielders an armchair ride. There he goes again, fisting it forward towards Judd, who gathers around Frawley. Left foot snap is a beauty. Chris Judd, some magic from the pocket, capitalising on the dominance of Robbie Warnock, who has now had 18 hitouts. And Carlton now out to an 18-point lead deep into the first quarter. It was Melbourne by 5.
Well, the hitouts are 21-9 to Carlton's advantage. Well, Robbie Warnock dominating the hitouts, as you said, Chris O, and there's another one to Chris Judd's advantage. He finishes off with a great left foot snap. But the clearances for the game thus far, 18-9 in favour of the Blues. There's another.
Yeah, armchair ride again. Robinson reaping the rewards this time. Betts is up after it. Garland there with him every step. You can see what his intent was. He was coming straight for us here on the boundary.
At what stage, Rob? I mean, I'm almost fascinated by people that don't rate ruckman. I mean, they've obviously never played in the midfield and struggling for a kick, and your big mate gives you one now and then. But you actually don't even start looking at your own ruckman looks like this. I mean, you just got to do something else.
Warnock at the back. Here's Judd again from Scotland. A real up and under towards Cruiser, who can use his weight. Oh, beautifully taken by Allard. Really a tapping play, and he's got it on line for his Third goal. With all due respect to David Allard, I had to look, both you gentlemen are holding up the two fingers, and I had to look twice to make sure that it was his third. He's not known as a big goal kicker.
No, he's not, Hunter, but he is an improving player, and they rate him very highly down there as someone who can do a lockdown role on the midfield, but as we've seen today, able to be smart enough to kick goals. It's interesting, Malcolm, scores from stoppages. You can see the clearances 20-9, but the important thing is the result of it. Carlton 7 goals straight.
Yeah, that means the Melbourne midfield coach should send the message out, change all that we've talked about during the week, and let's do something else.
Gibbs, another clearance towards half forward, patted down by Bartram. Chance for Scully, who's been very quiet. He coughs it up. Allard to Walker to McLean. Tried to thread it back to Walker. Couldn't quite find his man. Now Gisbert's off to Martin. Maloney quick hands to Davey, who's been quiet. Joseph, his shadow. Beautiful kick from Davey to Green. Now Bate wants it delivered. He decides to go wider towards Watts, who's got to beat a couple. Lather getting back and fisting over.
And getting the pats on the back is Laidler for that courageous effort. Brad Green, he was very unselfish. You see Laidler coming back because Henderson not in the picture. And that is one of the hardest spoils to employ, running backwards with the flight and fisting it behind you.
Carlton have kicked the last 5 goals in the game. Gisberts couldn't get boot the ball. Scotland fighting hard, as is Gisberts, and a bounce 35 metres from Melbourne's goal. Gee, they desperately need one after such a promising start.
Maloney being watched closely. He's circling there, but Scotland gets it away, and McLean bangs it out to half-back for the Blues. Digging in hard again was Thornton. Under pressure from McDonald. Garland arrived. There's a whistle. It's a Melbourne free. Going back to McDonald. Just for a trip there against Thornton by hand. So Joel McDonald, former Lion, as short as you can. Mark just paid to Garland. He's actually a leading disposal winner for the Demons. Not sure that's what they would have in their best plans. As he darts around McLean. Everyone wants to run around block McLean today. To full forward, big leap at the back. Not quite able to drag it down. Pedder, was that off the toe? Davey thought it was. Goal umpire said no way.
And mate, a quick, clear decision, unbelievably correct.
Aaron Davey wants to look at the big screen.
Interesting to have a look at the replay. There's a boot. That does look like it's come off his boot, does it not?
Yep.
See, the goal umpire's made the call immediately.
So it's okay to make an early call. Sometimes you've got to get it right, though, Malcolm.
Well, hang on, I'm not sure your eyes are any good. I reckon.
I'm with Hutter. I reckon it was a goal.
No, I reckon it came from the Carlton player.
What are you saying, Chris? An early call's not necessarily an accurate call.
No, he was right there.
It's good to be decisive, but
You were on an angle. He was right there.
Judd throws it out almost. Betts, Gibbs, Simpson. Here they go, the Blues. Or Simpson took on a couple. Blindly kicks to a vacant centre-half forward position. Foot race. Who'll get back first? Frawley leads. McDonald. Carlton pressing in number. McDonald needs to keep the ball in front of him. He paddles to the line and does it well.
Well
under
done.
Extreme pressure.
Get your eyes open, Malcolm.
There's the kick. No hand on
And
there.
there's this touch. See the touch of the ball?
No. I can't see it.
It's only a point. Good call. Let's move on, boys. Hey, now listen, McDonald. Hey, McDonald, to the letter of the law, pushed that ball deliberately out of bounds.
Well, he got what he wanted, but I thought he disguised it. Clearances this quarter. Well, that's a domination, and Warnock is the reason for it.
Yeah, just don't look at your man. Look at all the Melbourne players looking at the Carlton players. So you're going to be second to the ball.
And Chris Judd is just relishing all this service he's getting. back to full forward, and Thornton thinks he's a key forward at the moment. He's convinced himself he's taking marks like that, passing it back, and this man, Allard, is going to line up for his fourth.
Well, another stoppage, another Carlton clearance, and a goal from it. Well, we'll wait and see. Thornton's an interesting player. He played pretty much full back in Carlton's worst decade ever, and I reckon he got disheartened. Anyway, he's got the opportunity in the forward line because Jared Waite hasn't played for the last month or so.
I was going to ask you that,
the
Rob,
most of it.
when he comes back, Wade, is there room in the forward line for Thornton as well? But let's watch the Allard kick first and foremost. And maybe the prospect of having 4 goals to his name before half-time was playing with his head there, Allard. What do you think, Rob?
It's an interesting one, Hutto. I put it this way. I think Carlton's playing okay at the moment, and Jared Waite will have to earn his spot, which might mean that he has a couple of weeks playing with the Bull Ants.
Carlton by 4 goals. Kicked the last 5 in the game. Good leap, good mark. Gibbs chips it inboard. Couple of options. Murphy delivers. Trengove. Allard. Oh, is he pushed in the back by Bartram? No. Murphy followed up. Tries to fend off Scully. Betts. Good pressure from Melbourne. Trengove lost the handle. Now he fights at ground level. Ball not coming out for the moment. Murphy on hands and knees trying to get it to Judd. Judd's got it now. Can't get a handball out. Betts tried to get a boot the ball. Couldn't. Watts.
And he's exhausted.
And a high tackle on Trengove. So finally the congestion is cleared. Off to Bartram. Kicks towards the wing. Bate the substitute and laid the Bate handballs towards the line. And we'll get a boundary throw in between wing and half forward for the D's.
So 5 consecutive goals for the Blues. Cruiser. The ball down again. Robinson dispossessed. Everyone having a crack. Scully out the back, McKenzie, and then Pettard shaping the kick for full forward. Stephen Martin got there at the right time against Henderson, but the Blues gang up. Scotland, Tui, Joseph. No runner on the outer side to go to, so Tui has to try and cut back inside. Audacious little bounce and proppy little pass for Allard, who has to really come and get it himself now. And then drive up along the wing for McLean. Arriving late was Watts. Had an impact. It's over and out.
I must say, I had looked at Allo to see how old he was, you know, because he's sort of been one of those players in and out a bit, hasn't he? The way he's played today, is this the breakout game for him?
It may well be, Malcolm, because he could have kicked 4 goals already in this game, but I've kept my eye on him, and I really like the way he goes about it. He's very disciplined, does the team thing, and give him a bit of freedom, he can be creative.
22 years of age as Jones takes the ball off. Halfback, dangerous kick to Watts. He put it right near Chris Judd. He wouldn't do that by design too many times, and that is why Judd over to Betts. Wouldn't you love to play with Chris Judd? He can make anyone good.
Yeah. Yeah, he goes okay, that lad, number 5. 16 touches, contested possessions 11. And their forward line, through service from their midfield, is very dangerous.
Eddie Betts kicked the goal, but look at the pressure. The tackle from Judd. Was able to find it again and set Betts up. Outstanding play from the captain. And all of a sudden, Carlton with a 5-goal advantage. Scully couldn't control it. Scotland hunting in numbers at the moment, the Blues. Towards Simpson. Garlett, gang tackled. Scully, or Gawn wasn't expecting it. McKenzie, Pettit, Jones just forced to jam it on the boot and kick it as far and as wide as he can. Dygan. And 2 Carlton players getting across to where that ball finished. Only 1 Melbourne player. The kick to half forward. Gibbs front and centre. Big cruiser. Gets the handball to Simpson, to Murphy. Loose players inside the attacking 50. Scotland just drifted down. Thought about giving it over the top. Got the instruction from Thornton to stop, go back, kick the goal.
Well, the Demons just kicked the 1 behind, and we've been going 14 minutes into this second quarter. They had 10 scoring shots in the first term and making a real fist of it. Kicked inaccurately, but competitive, but they haven't been able to get going in this second quarter.
So Heath Scotland from 40. No mistake there. And margin now out to 36 and getting into dangerous territory for the Demons.
8 goal kickers to Carlton, and I reckon that's a terrific sign when you're spreading the goals around. They're not relying on the one player. For 10 years it was Brendan Favola. Well, those days are over, and now they've got players like Walker and Betts and Garlett who they'll end up kicking 50+ goals for the year. Nice position to be in.
I wonder what Gary Lyon thinks of matters for the Demons. It's come unstuck a bit in this second quarter. Dominating the clearances, 9-3 out of the middle, and 11 hit-outs to advantage to 2 in favour of the Blues so far. So they need to get back on level terms in just winning the footy here amongst when it's up for a contest.
Anthony, I've been watching these clearances, and there's far too many Melbourne players looking at a Carlton player to see what they're going to do, then do it.
Yep.
And I think when you're getting smashed in ruck like that, I mean, you just got to go for it. I mean, find your own footy.
They've got Warnock now at full forward, which means Cruiser will do the ruck work. No, I agree with you, Malcolm. They're reactive, aren't they? They're looking to see what their opponent's doing.
Maloney takes them out into the wing. Garland brave enough to try and break through on his own, but it was a fruitless expedition.
The interesting thing is, under pressure, you think, go back man to man. Sometimes that's work. Give it 5 minutes. You've still got to get your own footy and use it.
So 62-26. Bate, a much earlier start to his game than he was expecting after the really terrible injury to Strauss. He's cut down there. At least he was trying to show some initiative, I guess. And the Blues really sticking to their disciplines in this second quarter. Yaron feeds Cruiser. You heard the response. Long to Walker. Warnock's down. If it comes down, it doesn't. Watts has now been redeployed into defence. Try and stiffen up the resistance. Out to Pettard and half-back. Davey is running for him on the wing, but instead he chooses Frawley. Could have gone more to the interior, but decides to go out wide. And he finds Bate. Stephen Martin charging for him forward. Dygan engages, got to the front, got the fist to it, and he had the back up as well. Laidler snapped it through. Bit of a fumble from the big Cruiser. Gets the handball back to Dygan. And now Henderson's responsibility to get rid of it. He eventually did. Cruiser wasn't the most pretty passage of play for the Blues. Out to the wing, and Pettard again shows his spring.
Attacking side of the wing. Plays on, drives it deep towards Martin. He's got it this time. Read it well. He'll kick from 25, 45-degree angle. And a must-kick goal for Stephen Martin. As we look at the headed mark, it's a specky. We've seen a few of those.
Well, Melbourne are getting absolutely smashed in the midfield. Gibbs, Judd, Murphy, Scotland. Their numbers are almost double anything Melbourne can provide.
So Stephen Martin, who came in for the injured Jamar this season and has kept his spot, played some very good football. Misses the goal. Missing to the near side. Margin 34 in favour of the Blues. Short kick comes in to Joseph. Yaron leads the AFL in running bounces. And now play on as the free kick or mark was paid to Cruiser. Scotland now pitching just inside, boundary throwing the attacking side of the wing for the Blues.
Really, 3 goals, 10. I mean, kicking like that against the quality side, you're not going to be able to achieve too much.
Trengo very much doing a tagging job on Chris Judd.
And Maloney escapes this time. Gisberts brings Watts in. He gives them some run and flash off halfback and came to get it again and sharing it with Martin. They both were involved a couple of times. Done well positioned here. Henderson back. Did well that time. Read it nicely. Had some help from McLean. Good backup. Henderson has to go again. Now he's under some stress. Scully might get a chance. Not quite. And it goes to Bryce Gibbs, who's having a day out. Off to Murphy, who's just going okay also. And now Yaron, who can sum it all up and drive for Betts. Finds him with the corner of his eye. Betts might as well go. It's a vacant square, and he goes for Garlett. And again, they're all involved. Yaron, Betts, Garlett, and will it be goals?
Yes, and we saw that in the first quarter. And you just love seeing Yaron bolt out of that back line, hit targets.
And around he goes, and through it goes. Carlton's 11th on the board.
They are officially quick on forward.
Oh, absolutely.
Officially quick.
They are quick, and they love the spaces here at the MCG, Malcolm. If you have a look at the performances of Garlett and Betts, they particularly play well here, where they've just got a bit more room than, say, at Etihad.
And once again, this forward line is not an overnight thing either. I mean, it's been building, hasn't it? 3, 4, 5 years now. They've been Eddie and all the other boys have all starting to come together.
Yeah, look, Walker's been the revelation, I guess, this year going forward, and what, 47 goals to his name at this point.
Judd again. Can he get the handball clear? He does in the direction of Scotland. Well done, Jones, applying some pressure. Couldn't get the handball off Warnock. Now McLean feeding it out to Scotland, who kicks to Thornton. Couldn't quite hang on that time. And Watts for Melbourne brushes Thornton aside. He'll kick around the body in the direction of Trengove. Gets there on the bounce. He hurriedly kicks to the wing. Coming to meter Tui. Well played. Gathers now. Drives it deep. Target. Betts at the back. Will he fly? No. Watts scrambles it back to half back to Tapscott. Gisberts. Melbourne fighting hard just to prevent this onslaught. That was a wonderful tackle coming from Thornton, and a boundary thrown at half forward. Carlton have kicked the only 5 goals of this second quarter and have kicked the last 8 in the match after a promising start by Melbourne.
I'll tell you what, who's holding them together is Jack Watts. Without him, I reckon it might have been more like 15 goals.
And free kick.
He's playing the extra man in defence role, is Jack Watts. 12 disposals, but been very impressed with him.
The Blues have kicked 5 goals, 1 to 3 points in this second quarter. Mark Murphy for disposal number 15, taking no chances. Back to Henderson. They've really knuckled down Carlton in this quarter, haven't they? They've just given nothing to Melbourne. They've been terrific without the ball and excellent with it. And hence the margin is 40 points. And this man, as we said, Heath Scotland, having a stellar year in the twilight of his career. To Dygan. Out wide to Joseph, who withstood the tackle. A little bit of a shake of the hips. He can smell a goal as well. He's taken big marks and had long dashing runs and kick goals.
You make a decision on that, don't you? You think you can get there, you try and go for it, and looks silly when it doesn't come off.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking now, and this has got no disrespect to anyone, but I wonder what Dean Bailey's thinking watching this game right now, as they're starting to get smashed again.
Margin 46.
Well, I tell you what, Malcolm, I'm wondering what the people who made the decision are thinking now.
Wide by Warnock, all Melbourne. Scully, Watts needs to be precise and is. To Jones.
In fairness, though, I mean, you can't expect the new coach to come in and make too much difference in 1 week, can you?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not, Hutto. But, you know, this is a team, it's a work in progress, as we said before, and it's another 3 or 4 years in front of it. You've got to get. I said there's 11 players out there for Melbourne who've played under 50 games. You've got to give them a chance to play together for 6 or 7 years, get their 120 games up.
McLean does very well, searching for Gibbs, and Gibbs gets an arm chop. Now caught to play on. Now he's still played on here. Betts gave it back to Gibbs, thinking he had the free kick. Towards the goal square, Simpson in from the side. Big cruiser, couldn't quite hang on. Now an opportunity at the fall for Murphy. Joseph, he's already had one. Pushed in the back, was he? No, says the umpire. And a bounce 30 metres from Carlton's goal.
I don't know any young side that doesn't go through those troughs, peaks and troughs in a season. I mean, you gradually got to build up to it. Very, very few come out and just go whack.
Young teams will have impressive wins and devastating losses.
Walker, Murphy, well tackled. Garland, well done. McLean. Did he make a genuine attempt there? No, says the umpire. There was no prior opportunity, and it was always tough.
Melbourne kicked
to get rid of it.
Melbourne kicked 22 goals against the Crows here in round 7. Had a terrific win, won by 16 goals. In round 13, the Demons kicked 22 goals against Fremantle, finalists from last year. So you're going to have some extraordinary highs and some really bad lows, and that's when you have a low, you need to stick together.
Especially the way footy's played these days too. If you get on top, it's hard to change.
McLean having a pretty good afternoon. Kicks his first.
We are seeing some massive results, aren't we, this season?
And I think you will, Hutto, with with power teams. Geelong at the moment. Who would like to go down to play Geelong at the moment? I reckon there's only one team that could probably stand up against them at the moment. That's Collingwood. They're cherry ripe to kill whoever comes their way at the moment.
I really believe that, I mean, the midfield control now, because of the rotations, it's hard as a coach now to stop this. Once another midfield gets on top of you now, you really got no control of the game. And that's why I reckon these big amounts are happening.
Well, it's suddenly out to 52 points, and they're hungry for more. McLean to Betts. Judd charging through the middle. Betts has got other ideas. Mitchie Robinson with a big bomb to fall forward. Cruiser in front. He's a hard man to get past. It's still a dangerous ball. Scully kept it alive. Judd, big tackle he laid.
Right.
And it's a throw. Tringo, the victim.
Eddie puts his hand up and says, I'm not playing on, I'm not playing on.
After he tried to get around 3.
I'll tell you what, if Judd kicks this goal, well, they've got 11 goal kickers anyway. He's already kicked a goal, but geez, it's a big spread of goal kickers.
Once again, it's the midfield just smashing it.
It's a great tackle, isn't it, too, from Chris Judd.
Clearances, Malcolm, 13 to 32.
Kicked a big goal when they needed it last week. 10 goals, 13 for the season. Chris Judd is coming in for his second of the afternoon. And yes, it's probably another 3 votes in the Brownlow. 2 goals, 12 for the season now. 14-2-86 to 3-10-28. 58 points, boys. Eight unanswered goals in this quarter. Chris Judd's had 12 disposals and kicked a couple of those goals. The margin out to 58 points.
I'd like to see Tringrove come from the other side, so put some pressure from the other side, Rob. Instead of standing alongside him, all Juddy does is just knock him over. I mean, it's just, someone's got to be teaching these kids.
Maloney tries to brush a couple aside, got it to Watts. His handball astray. Judd, Gibbs feeds it back. Dygan inside attacking 50. Simpson almost very brave. McDonald was able to gather to Bartram. Now Rivers towards the wing. Oh, Carlton. Comfortable mark taken by Robinson. Carlton have kicked 8 in this quarter. They kicked the last 3 of the first, so they've kicked 11 unanswered goals. Gibbs into the pocket. Betts pushed Garland out of the way. Now Watts hoping for the line and just tapped it over. And the umpire says throw it in.
Courage of Cade Simpson running back with the flight.
So can they kick their 9th of the quarter? Just under a minute left on the clock. Cruiser tried to get it down to Murphy. Garland's tried hard. Needs to release it. He does. McKenzie tackled by Robinson and a bounce 30 metres from Carlton's goal.
Bryce Gibbs, boys, 20 disposals for the match.
Yeah, he's in good form. Tom Scully, 1 kick, 9 handballs. The balance is out of whack.
Here's Robinson. trying to crash through and create some more havoc. Cruiser to Betts, isn't he enjoying himself? There's an instant handball from Simpson. Thornton wants to cash in with some more. He misses the lot. And the margin stays at 58 points. Joel McDonald. Under Trengove. The dabs into the back pocket to Garland. I'll be happy to see out these last 15 seconds, I'm sure. Tapscott up to the wing. Pettard's going to come from behind. Mark Pay to Cruiser. He won't realise there's only 4 seconds to go. And unfortunately, those 4 seconds are now gone. Bryce Gibbs sitting on his own in the forward pocket. He's not happy. But overall, the Blues would be delighted. They have turned it on in that second term. Stephen Martin grits the teeth, goes hard at Warnock, and Martin quick to his feet and getting the ball out into the wing, despite being under some duress from Eddie Betts. Tui gets there first for the Blues, hemmed in by Bate. Scotland, we've discussed just how well he's playing this year. Gives a bit of a standoff with Green, and then back to Davies as the Blues push themselves forward. All numbers ahead here. Davies, first disposal of the day. Been playing a negative role, primarily. Laidler works it back onto the wing. Dygan's had his moments. Now Mitch Robinson popping up and darting from the wing. Low spearing ball. Cruiser had an opportunity. Plenty of demons to contend with. Tapscott comes away, again under some forward pressure from Betts, and that was well worthwhile. Tui to Judd. Spots Gibbs, but decides to go longer to Warnock's height at full forward. 1-2, but not the third. And that was Gibbs again fashioning the ball into his boot.
And Bryce Gibbs last week, Hutto, when he kicked 4 goals, interviewed after the game, said that he really hopes he gets a little bit more chance to play forward in his 100-plus game career for Carlton. Most of that's been spent across the half-back line and midfield, not a lot up forward.
He's such a clever player, isn't he? And you can see the value up forward if he does find the footy.
So Garland to himself and then driving kick towards Howe. Simpson worked his way to the front, couldn't quite hold on. Joseph. Simpson conceding ground. Laidler. Now where does he go? Short. And he finds Judd. Too far out to score. Judd coming in for disposal number 21. Wide to the advantage of Ellard, who marks 45 from goal. And will have an opportunity perhaps to kick goal number 4. No, not concerned about that too much, so goes back to Joseph. As the Blues work it around the perimeter. Not a great kick coming from Joseph. Laidler, good tackle by Green. Blues have got the numbers. Dygan ran around the footy. Green picks it up, so a big opportunity here for the Demons. Howe to Jones. Now he's held up. Carlton able to get a couple of numbers back. Needs to go long towards Watts. He'll have the sit here, Jack Watts. So Joseph took his running. Surely a free kick. Fisted away by Henderson to Laidler. And with the non-dominant boot, finds Simpson just back onto the wing.
Simpson into the middle. Eventually it gets via Allard to Gibbs. And more run up from defence. Scotland has Betts in short. More ambitious. Cruiser. Very conscious of the opponent there, Rivers. And also Frawley. Cleaned them up, got them out of the way. Frawley goes in to retrieve the situation. But still, Garlett and Walker were there, bubbling away for the Blues. Another shot at goal, another miss. Out in the full. Let's get a medical update from Howie.
Yeah, bad news coming out of Melbourne, Hutto. They're now saying Strauss suspected broken fibula and tibia, so both bones in the lower leg, which is what Michael Barley did last year. So bad news for the Demons.
Thanks, Howie. That is shocking news. It was a very ugly incident. Kick towards half-back. And free kick will come back to Howe, who I think one of Melbourne's best. Short to Rivers. Not too much on, not a lot of run. So forced just to kick high, long, along the line. Bait up in front and centre Watts. Laidler did well to work the ball to Simpson. Now Robinson, poor kick. straight to Rivers. So this time he decides to transfer the angle to Garland, and now Bartram. Still inside defensive 50 though. No real spark at the moment for Melbourne.
Hold, Aaron.
Aaron Davey, just the 3 disposals in the game, needs to get himself up and going.
So Pettit from centre half back directs it wide. Jones took the arm, says the umpire, so he'll take the free kick on centre wing. Drives it towards his captain. In fact, it's Bate at the back, and Bate has taken the mark over the top of Yaron. And they needed something like that because it's very stop-start at the moment for the Demons. No flow in their game, but Matthew Bate will kick from just inside 50 on a 45-degree angle.
Played 68 games now, Rob, Matthew Bate. He's had his good games, hasn't he? He just hasn't quite taken that next step to be a consistent, you know, 150, 200-game player.
Yeah, he's an awkward size, isn't he? Just needs a little bit more height to be a key position player, but yeah, I'd persevere with him.
And well offline, so another behind to Melbourne.
Here's another of their high draft picks, really, that hasn't been able to go on to the level they need to be a successful club.
2 runners on the bench there in Scully and Davey.
Scully, Trengove and Davey all sitting down at the moment. Big bomb back into play by Laidler. Right down the middle she goes. There's Scotland. Was it too high? Was it caught? It was too high.
Stay out, play on.
Quickly it came to Murphy, who in a rush moved it on to Joseph. And then off half back again, it was Davies getting involved. Up to the wing, good body pressure from Thornton. Saw off McDonald. Simpson loves to run. He's on his wrong side now. He's not. But Jones knew exactly where he was going. Thought he may have tumbled into his back. McDonald tries to sort it out. Garland was facing the wrong way. Now Davey can see more Blues jumpers ahead, so he changed the angle up and got it right to Pettard. Crossed the body for Watts. Had to wait a while. Green's demanding it. Gawn's there as well. Gawn up over the top, might let it go, and it floats through for a much-needed one by Jack Watts.
Yeah, it's a great smother.
Breaks the run of 11 straight goals, that.
And clever centre by Aaron Davey, and Pettard again moved it on quickly. So that's one of the best passages they've had for the game.
And I reckon Todd Viney could do the best thing in this club for the next 4 weeks after this game is try some more in the midfield. Do something that's different. Something that might not have worked, do it again. Do something else.
So free kick to Judd from that boundary throw in. Too far out to score. There's the lead from Thornton.
But no one of any size back.
So he decides to kick anyway. Simpson and Garlett, the 2 tall options, fisted away by Tapscott. Ground level, that's where they're dangerous. Trengove, McDonald tried to do a bit too much, although he got away with it. Gone. Tried to get it clear. Judd swoops on the loose footy and kicks another poster. That's the 3rd poster this quarter for Carlton.
It's the same stick they've hit too.
So Judd's returned 2 goals, 1 this afternoon, and the margin out to 55.
And 5 behinds for the quarter for the Blues. Chris Judd, 25 disposals, 15 contested possessions, 10 inside 50. Garland gives it the old heave-ho out to half-back. Bate was involved and Martin, but the fumble allowed Scotland in. Scully able to retrieve it. Watts has been the outstanding contributor for the Demons, but he left this one for Chris Judd. And Yaron can mosey on in and try and fire it away at Cruiser. There's a bit of hanging on. Is it Gibbs is free here? It is.
Just here, thanks, Jack.
So Bryce
thanks,
Gibbs.
Thanks.
Let's have a look. Marking contest. Tapscott interfering.
Gee, Malcolm, in our day, play on.
Yeah.
A few things have changed since your day, Rob, haven't they? Did you Twitter much in your day?
Twitter, I used to get nervous when I went down to St Kilda. I knew Big Carl was coming from behind. I'd Twitter then.
Here's Gibbs. Kicked 13-11 for the season. On the back of 4 last week, uses that right-hand goalpost, swings it back, and Carlton finally break through in this 3rd term.
Well, it took a man of this youngster, Bryce Gibbs, wonderful player, wonderful skills, and as I said, they finally got that goal that was they so desperately for. So just one goal each this quarter.
Bryce Gibbs, his first, Carlton's 12th goal kicker for the afternoon. And their first goal of this third quarter. Kicked 1-5 for the quarter.
And they've got Judd at full forward on Nathan Jones.
Bounce favours gone. He gets it down, but taken by McLean. Scrambles a kick wide to half forward. Walker. Good pressure coming from Frawley. Judd. McLean wrapped up by Dunn and Jones. Jones ended up with the football, and McLean's been pinged.
Lyndon Dunn.
So Lyndon Dunn with the free kick on centre wing. He was lively early, Lyndon Dunn. Kicked 3 points in the opening quarter. Still to register a goal.
It's an unbelievably bad kick.
Taken by Murphy. Searching kick for Betts, who marks well above his head. Now Simpson's run on here. Chip over the top. Can he find the radar? No.
I reckon Kate Simpson's carrying injury. I don't think he's 100% at all.
Rivers just letting him know. Boundary throw forward for the Blues.
It's hard to be lippy when you're 61 points down, though, isn't it, surely?
He found a way.
Yeah, glue the gob.
Gone to the front. There's Houlihan inserted into the action. Scully just had his wits about him and needed to. Rivers fell a bit from Robinson. Under pressure. He did all right there. That time did Stephen Martin. Finds Maloney. And now Jeremy Howe takes the mark. Spots a darting teammate in Tapscott, who just collected one high. A bit of over-enthusiasm from Ryan Houlihan.
Carlton made their substitution. Hutto, Houlihan on, Chris Yaron off.
Why is Yaron off, Howie? Is he injured?
No, I don't believe he's injured. I think he's just having a spell, Wolsey.
Big spell.
Just freshen him up. This is management, player management, Rob. Just looking at Maloney.
Is there a downfield free here, or something's happened?
Oh, and the only player to realise is Heath Scotland.
And it's talking about being gifted a goal. Scotland's going to run in and ram it through. Carlton's 16th is there. And half the people here still don't know what happened.
It's got me.
And we're in that half. Davey might have been involved. Davies and also Green.
So a goal to Scotland, his second, and this is the reason against Brad Green, although they're both in amongst that by the look of it. Anyway, the free kick was reversed, and Heath Scotland was the only one who realised and was able to run inside the attacking 50 and convert the opportunity.
Now, Brad Green, I mean, he's captain of this team. I'd almost throw him in the middle or half back. I mean, he's done nothing for a few weeks, has he? The ball's not getting down there.
He's had 5 disposals for the game. No, you're right. They give him a chance to use a bit of energy and leadership in the midfield.
Gisberts to Maloney, high towards Green, got up, couldn't take the mark. Dygan. Chance for Robinson, who put the head down, tried to crash through. Davey held it out. He'll take a free kick, Aaron Davey. He'll kick from 50. It's been a pretty quiet afternoon. Just coming in for disposal number 5 back in this Melbourne team this afternoon.
Just walking across there in front of Davey then was Brett Maloney. He had some sensational games, particularly early in the season. He really dropped off, whether injury or form or blokes just sitting on him. Their midfield thrust is just gone.
So this will test him from 49. Drop punt looks pretty good, and Melbourne have their second of the quarter. So a goal to Aaron Davey, and Melbourne advanced to 5-12, but gee, they're a long way back. The margin back to 61.
It's Todd Viney. Wonder how he's found it so far. Judd back on the ground. He's had 27 disposals already. There's Murphy's 24th. Gave it straight up, though. Jones away from Trengove. Walker goes to retrieve it. And the Blues are at half forward already. Robinson in amongst it. well gathered. Tapscott got a handball away just in time. Hurried kick across the body from Gisberts, and making sure that it wasn't going any further was Dygan.
You'll never see a smaller Carlton forward line. There's Garlett, Brock McLean, Houlihan. Now Henderson's come on and gone forward, so at least they've got a bit of size there.
Walker for Judd. And the boundary line a factor there also. Interesting about Maloney, you mentioned before, Blighty. I reckon of all those options that you gave, he really has been tagged tightly in those weeks after he dominated, and he hasn't been able to shake that completely. He was Cook last week, I think, didn't get a touch, was subbed off at half-time, and the absence of the big ruckman hasn't helped as well at times.
Yeah, Jamar hasn't helped it when he's in good form. They seem to get a bit more go at it, that's true.
Just needs more support in the midfield. Jones tries to shrug off Simpson. That was a tough task. In the back, the umpire said.
Will find those.
So Jones from centre wing.
And the Blues have put Henderson to full forward and Thornton to full back.
Kick wide in the direction of Dunn. Houlihan. Oh, gee, ordinary handball from Murphy. Houlihan wasn't expecting it. Frawley now dashing clear, but did and tried to do too much.
I have a feeling Brett Ratton will give his team a rocket at three-quarter time.
So Tui wide, and kick had too much on it for Judd, but he recovers well. Kicks towards half forward. Simpson the target. Rivers the destroy. Now Henderson, well tackled by a couple, and a ball up 55 metres from Carlton's goal. There's the Murphy handball intended for Houlihan, who wasn't watching.
Off.
Pretty basic, I suppose.
It was. He should be fresh. He's just come on as the sub.
So they're on the 50 again, but not for long. Scully marching away for the Demons. Kicked it to the wing. It's all Carlton, all Laidler. Had too much time. Made a mess of it. Joseph, Thornton, they spread to the outer side. Dygan, Gibbs will be next cab off the rank. He's got space to burn out there on the wing. In the little patch of sunshine on the southern side. Gibbs to sum it up. Henderson one option. Walker another if he wants to go longer.
He wants a suntan, Hutto. Look at that, playing in the sun.
It's like you, Blighty, in search of the big wave in the sun. Out in the pocket, here's Walker. We've seen his spectacular in the air. Tried a little trick shot at goal there, maybe with someone in the goal square. It wasn't such great thinking. Tapscott, did he get a handball to it? No, he didn't, I'm afraid.
And the speedy Garlett and Betts, they win a lot of free kicks that way with the pressure they put on. Now, this fella's had the horrors with his shots at goal this quarter.
Blighty, you've still got it. Brad Green's just come onto the ground. He's been running around on the ball for the last minute.
Thanks for that, Mark. I'm really pleased about that.
And here's Garlett, 1 goal, 2 to his name. This time he keeps it online. Enough.
That's his 40th goal for the year. '40th goal for the year, Hutto. Little Jeffy.
Yeah. That's a good total, isn't it, when you've got Walker, who came into today's game with 46 and has been able to add just 1 goal, so he's in the 40s as well. Eddie Betts, of course.
3 blokes kicking 50 usually go play in the grand final.
Yeah.
And there's Garlett kicking his second, just letting Luke Tapscott know.
I'd just go away, Jeffy. Like, if he puts you in a bear hug, he'll kill you. And Carlton rearranged their talls again. Now they've got Thornton up forward with Cruiser, Henderson into the back line.
Martin to Maloney, Gisberts off a step, kicks to half forward. Laidler paddles to the advantage of Scotland as he pushed in the back. Not according to the
Yeah, non-controlling umpire saw it.
Okay, so it was a belated free kick to Heath Scotland, who was again amongst the disposals this afternoon, coming in for number 22. Been very good again. Signs to go wide, and Robinson had to work, but he got there. Now the kick towards half forward. Big Warnock in the pack. Ball to the back. Tapscott and Garlett. Garlett put a couple of metres on him in 5 metres. Off to Houlihan. Around Green. Left foot snap towards the goal square. Thornton. Well done. Good work. Soccer forward. And that's a goal to Walker. Couple of goals to Andrew Walker. 48 for the season. So you've got Walker with 48, Betts with 39, and Garlett with 39. In fact, Garlett with 40.
Yeah, and Malcolm, you're just saying 3 forwards, 50 plus for the season, puts you pretty close to a grand final, did you say?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does indeed.
So the margin's 73 points now in favour of the Blues, and sharing the goals around Andrew Walker a couple to take his season tally to 48.
There's the Carlton hierarchy. Sticks Kernahan and Greg Swan.
Cheers.
And we spoke to Greg Swan this morning on the radio, who virtually said that Brett Ratton will coach next year. So they won't make the decision till the end of the year, but he said a lot would have to go wrong.
Well, that's a good thing.
So McKenzie inserting the Demons into the 50. Joseph, there's Murphy, couldn't find a path.
Carlton's got 3 players in the top 10 goal kickers in the competition, and that's Walker, Garlett and Betts. No other team has got 3 in the top 10, so it's a nice spread. And your theory, Malcolm, is that that'll get you into a grand final?
Oh, yeah, almost certain, yeah. Just grab the record books, have a bit look like you, Rob, but I think it's right.
Dunn was stripped of it. Murphy sends Simpson away onto the wing. Cruiser has presented hard all day. Jones had nowhere to go, and he felt the wrath from behind. This pressure has just been cranked up a little more late in this quarter from the Blues. Low ball, a wobbly one. Maloney, Petthead, just able to get away from Judd. Showed it a bit too and got a little bit fancy out there at half forward. Over to Bate. 73 points is the margin. Davey waiting for it to come to the back. It never got there. Lyndon Dunn, he of the left foot and the dodgy moustache, puts it through. Back to 67 points.
Just wonder if that was a coaching tool. Then Henderson came from the front and went for the mark. Under that much pressure, I've seen a lot of defenders would have put a big fist into that. I'm a great one at getting the ball, but if you felt under pressure as a defender, put a fist in it, might have just stopped that goal.
Well, it's been a long time since he won Wimbledon, but there he is. The odd ball, 5 Wimbledons, and here he is to support Todd Viney.
He's just taping up his hair.
You idiot, Rob.
That's more like it for Maloney.
To Scully, to Pettit, who kicks towards half forward. Dunn. Waited for the ball to bounce. Dygan first there. Hasn't had the greatest of afternoons, Nick Dygan. Maloney goes back to Green, who concedes further ground back to Garland. Hoists it high. Now Trengove up. Couldn't take the mark. Ground level. Carlton fight to try and keep the ball in. Spills out to Joseph. And what's the umpire going to do? He's going to bounce it 45 metres from Melbourne's goal.
Boys, you were talking about Andrew Walker earlier on. A bit of a story floating around this morning that he's re-signed with the Carlton Football Club, soon to make that announcement, possibly for 3 years, which is good going for a man that was trade bait last year.
Yeah, he was looking to get out, wasn't he, at one stage?
Warnock, Scotland, as we get the siren for 3/4 time. So a better effort from the Demons in that quarter, but the margin still as Watts and Ellard get involved. 67 points at the final change.
All right, last quarter then. Carlton by 67 points at the MCG. What have Melbourne got in store for us?
Warnock versus Martin. Warnock again gets the kick away this time, as well as the knockout to Walker to Judd. Inside attacking 50. Tapscott read the bounce well and drives it back to the wing, but straight to Dygan. And he can send Carlton back into attack. Simpson leading wide for him. That's the direction the kick takes. Couldn't quite hang on. Not the best of kicks. Green brilliantly tackled by Joseph. Wrapped him up. No prior opportunity And the umpire gives him the benefit of the doubt. We'll get a bounce on the wing. So Warnock again against Martin. Again, Warnock directs it in the direction of Judd to Robinson, but in the meantime, it's called a throw. And a free kick will come back to be taken by Maloney on centre wing.
So Maloney bombing to the forward line. Henderson comes late, can't get there to have an impact. Robinson did enough to stop Watts. Nice little blind turn from Pettard, but it didn't put him into the clear. And then he was smothered. Trengove's going to get an opportunity, and so is Green. Green's going to fire away. Look at this kick. It's wobbling. Tough one for the defenders to stay camped down. To Laidler stood his ground onto Scully's left boot, bangs it around the corner and misses. Now, despite the scoreline, boys, do you think it's been bruise-free from the Demons today, or have they had a crack?
I think they've had a crack. Shot there of Nick Duigan, 26-year-old first-year player for Carlton. He looks really tired to me. Might benefit with a week or two off just to freshen up. Even though he's 26, a mature-age player, he would never have had a season as long as this, with the pre-season involved at Carlton and the 24 games.
Laidler aggressively kicks down the middle looking for Cruiser. Martin the crumb. Back inside attacking 50, but camped underneath it. Henderson, who takes the mark. Have you viewed his game today, Malcolm?
Just fair, actually. We were here the first day he could put back full back, and I thought he was okay, but it's just been a bit not perfect today. Been okay.
Kick there wasn't great, but he mops it up and finds McLean half back. And got a loose player, Joseph, on the southern side, chips it, and the mark's taken by Houlihan. A little treatment from Tapscott, nothing much in that. So Ryan Houlihan, game 201, finds Scotland. And now Tui. So not a lot of aggressive run from the Blues just at the minute. Henderson now, Duigan working hard for him, and he takes the mark. So the defensive players just sharing the footy around, just racking up the stats at the moment. Laidler. Now Henderson wants it back at centre half back, and that's where he goes. And he spreads it further wide to Scotland. Another disposal for him. Oh, uncharacteristic ordinary kick. Scully attacks it hard, paddles towards Jones, but Scotland read it. Loops the handball over the top. Murphy, he didn't give him much of a chance. Good tackle, McDonald. Houlihan's got it to Ellard. Kick around the body. Mark taken by Bartram for Melbourne.
Oh, it's hard yards at the moment for both sides out there, Blighty. Carlton really, obviously not trying to give it up, but over-possessing. Is that a mark? Not paid. Little handball. Watts overruns it. Here's Chris Judd to have an impact. He threw it again, and the umpire's on to him again. He won't be happy, Juddy, with that.
Yeah, I think he did that involuntary.
Yeah,
it just sort of popped up off his hand.
It just sort of stuck to the hand longer than he thought, didn't it?
Yeah. If his teammate wasn't there, he would have chased his own ball and it wouldn't have been a throw. So why is it a throw?
Davies slaps it back. Jones winds up. Has he got the angle right? Davies trying to hold off Bate. Went to ground. Umpire waved it on. And Bate should be able to goal. But he can't. Again, they miss gettable goals. 6-14 to 18-7.
Jack Trengove having a spell. 2 behinds to Matthew Bate. Brock McLean, runner-up in Melbourne's best and fairest in 2008. Finished 3rd back in 2006. Now playing, of course, for the Blues. Finds Henderson. Now, target Duigan, not the best of kicks, and Green's able to put the fist in. Oh, gee, Laidler got through him a little too easily. Oh, Jim McKenzie ducked ahead. Watts, good little give to Davey. Now, his kick back inside, and Dunn just was able to take the mark despite Henderson's attempts.
It's really become a game of position, hasn't it? Each team just trying to honour the ball a bit more and try and hang on to it.
He fancies himself here, Malcolm, does Dunn, and he is a long kick of the footy.
Was one of the culprits early when Melbourne kicked 3-7 in the opening quarter. He kicked 3 of those 7 behinds. Kicked a goal in the 3rd quarter. Winds out to the right. Pulls it back. Gee, it's got some purchase on it. He's kicked a wonderful goal from 57 metres. So the margin back to 59 points. And great work there from Lyndon Dunn as Bjorn Borg celebrates.
Are you a Borg fan, Wolsey?
Yes, yeah. I like tennis when they played with the wooden rackets, Hutto.
You still use a wooden racket yourself?
I do. Serve volley player.
Rob and Malcolm, you both have facial hair. How do you rate that?
No, I think it just needs a bit more down the side, Mexican-style bandito. Just it looks a very stiff upper lip, doesn't it, otherwise, if you don't give it a bit of depth in the bottom.
He's done enough to win the bet, I would have thought, by now.
I don't think it looks all that bad.
Dygan takes it out to Simpson.
God, hell, we've all got mirrors.
Just jealous of Bloody. Here's Betts, who sneaks through half forward to Houlihan. Let's see if the Blues can get a move on here.
Geez, a good overhead mark, Eddie Betts.
Loops it to full forward. Gibbs is in position A. And he's left a bit of debris in his wake too.
Taps got down again.
I think it is.
Gee, hit the ground hard. He was in a bit of trouble in the third quarter.
Martin's
and again,
got
some friendly fire.
Yeah.
First in the third quarter was Garland, then Martin.
Got him with both thighs there, I reckon.
Gee, I reckon might have been a bit of hip involved.
Yeah.
That's why there's a problem with Tapscott, who's been in the wars the last 3 weeks. Bang.
And he hit the ground
Gee.
as well. Martin also came up a little awkwardly.
Oh.
He's coming off too.
Gibbs just looking back, thinking, thank goodness that wasn't me.
Bjorn still staying to the bitter end here. All right, Bryce Gibbs, let's get it back on track. Certainly hope young Tapscott is okay. Gibbs to put it through, which he does, steers it, and the Blues get their opening goal of this last quarter. So Bryce Gibbs comes off the ground after that 4-minute break because he needed one.
Well, he's just kicked the goal.
I'll get back to you on that.
Well, the player who came on was Brock McLean, and I guess McLean, if anyone needs a lot of game time, it's McLean.
Bryce Gibbs came off, Wolsey, despite a 4-minute break there.
Yes, funny, wasn't it? He had that break, kicked the goal, then he sprinted. He actually sprinted off, but I think
That's why he needed the rest.
I think Brett Ratton's keen to get Brock McLean out there for as much game time as possible.
So a chance for Melbourne here through Trengove. Wobbles the ball towards half forward. Bate crashed the pack and his own teammate. Chance for Robinson. Cade Simpson's well tackled. We'll get a ball up on attacking 50, and we don't often see the long sleeve emerge. Cade Simpson's opted for that this afternoon.
Pretty cool. Think it might be something wrong with his arm.
I think he's got an arm problem.
Yeah.
He's not 100% at all.
So Murphy threads it to Houlihan. Not a great handball. McDonald was very good early. John McDonald. Warnock. Robinson just thrown out by Scully. Houlihan's got the footy, gave it up. Maloney tries to get enough space to get rid of it. Can't. Another bounce.
A lot of people at the Melbourne Football Club will be disappointed in this today, but there's been effort from the club, and last week we didn't see a lot of effort. So, I mean, you couldn't be complaining too much about their effort.
Here's an opportunity for Maloney, quickly shut down by Henderson, who basically gave that to Robinson. Had the onus to get rid of it too. He knew how hot the situation was. Murphy decides to chance his arm, but doesn't get anywhere. Gone straight up and down with the kick's going to drift across and go over the line and out of bounds.
And having said that, Anthony, young teams have these flat spots during matches. I mean, they've always done it. And the second quarter was a real flat. I mean, it was almost below flat, underground flat.
8 goals to none.
But the rest of it's been okay, you know. So you actually cop that as a footy club, I reckon, on the development on the way up.
Here's Jones as the Demons try and reset. Judd coming off the bench, just can't quite get there. Martin takes the mark, tries to hit one of the leading targets. Well, he didn't really put it somewhere in between all of the leading targets. Simpson takes the mark. Were you surprised that Sylvia was left out of the team this week, Blighty or Rob?
Actually, one of the questions I asked Todd Viney at the start of the game was that you'd made some changes, and he said, yeah, some was form, but some was for things that they will not do out in the ground. Now, you can put that in two categories. There's obviously some discipline stuff that wasn't happening.
You would think there had to be a reason like that, Malcolm, because he's a mature player, strong-bodied player, just what they need out there to help these kids.
Yeah, sure.
He's gone, weaving his way through, still having a crack. Pettit with a bit of a run-up. And the kick is a little limp and goes out of bounds.
And one of the sad things is, I mean, because he's one of the senior players, it's out for that game. Everyone points a finger at him. But it may well be. His form was just tapering off and they were working on something, as what Todd Viney said.
Liam Jarrah also left out of the team.
Scotland, long cruiser, just thumps it on, only as far as Mackenzie. Oh, gee, sold Garland into trouble, taken by Rivers. Frawley, and uses it well in the corridor, taken by Scully. Now he transfers play to Bartram. And he's got a loose player half forward and hits Trengove. Carlton have got plenty of numbers back, as you can see, inside their defensive 50. Trengove forced as a consequence to go wide, looking for Green, and finds him, despite the attention from Davies. And Brad Green will kick from just 35 metres, but as you can see, the angle acute.
Inside 50s for the quarters, boys. For this quarter, 9-3.
Yeah, it's been all Melbourne's way. Been played in their forward half.
And in fact, for the game, it's 43-all. Yet Carlton lead 19 goals to 7.
That's right. I mean, that's called effort. So, I mean, you can see that. It's just said that bad patch in the second quarter.
Green's kick just drifting across the face.
And the kicking a goal, Blighty, has been a real critical factor all day.
Liam Jarrah sitting there. And Austin Watt on Miri.
Heath Scotland in conference with the umpire. There's a blood rule going on, I think. Bjorn was still there in the background.
Well, no, there was another
Bjorn.
Another Bjorn that...
it's a lot of Bjorn. Do you know why?
Well, he was the furthest thing from Bjorn I think I've ever seen. But
do you realise why those headbands are being worn, Michael?
For Todd Viney, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not Bjorn at all.
David Swartz was another one that used to wear a headband, didn't he, at times?
It's a Melbourne fan.
Pretty happy with himself in those days, the Ups.
Carl Dietrich used to wear a headband.
I say that as a mate of mine, Chris,
of course.
My sister used to wear a headband at school.
It kicks up to the wing. Here's Houlihan. Just going for a stroll along the wing. Got Garland in tow, decides to go to Betts instead. Outnumbered, everyone goes to ground. Joseph scrambled for it, kept it alive. McDonald, Betts was right there in his back pocket. Hurried kick away. Houlihan, stand, shake. Simpson could go short to Cruiser, or instead across to Murphy. Got yorked, left it behind. Judd still in there having a crack. Trengo, bit of a fumble. Back to Davey, and they're out of trouble.
To Howe, who kicks poorly towards Dunn, didn't give him much of a chance, and Carlton again get numbers to the contest. Scotland shares it with Murphy, who comes across the ground to Simpson, who is all by himself on centre wing. Couple of options. Where will he go? Decides to go to the longer one. Warnock, yes.
Now, can he kick the goal?
It's a replay, isn't it?
This is where he missed, Hutto. It was against Geelong.
Yeah.
Against Geelong. He was concussed at the time.
At least this time he hasn't been knocked out, Rob. But he is a ruckman still.
He missed a couple of weeks after that.
I'll tell you what he's good at, hitting the post.
Get odds with me.
So Warnock now, no problems there.
And the Carlton fans love it.
So does he.
So Warnock kicks his first goal of the afternoon. And I think that makes it 13 individual goal kickers for the Blues, which is an amazing stat, which is an equal season high for Carlton. Judd dispossessed. Warnock trying to get boot the ball, couldn't. Maloney does well. Scrambles it towards full forward, 2-on-1 against Bate. Well done, Dygan. He attacked it hard that time. Feeds it back to Simpson. 5-metre kick to McLean, who kicks back to Scotland. That's okay, and Scotland delivers into the back pocket to Thornton. So Thornton now searching for Betts, pushed over by Garland, and in the end there was a long delay before the umpire blew the whistle, but it'll be taken by Eddie Betts just backward of the southern wing.
I wonder what Gary's observed this afternoon. Delicate little pass over for Chris Judd, who's along with Murphy and Scotland beyond 30 disposals each this afternoon. Very strong Carlton midfield. That's not a great kick from Chris Judd, it's got to be said. And Gawn fishing for it, takes it, half back, goes short, scrambles the kick. Now Garland, he goes dangerously back. Oh, Walker probably should have spoiled there.
Gee, that was a dangerous kick.
Walker just a couple of goals this afternoon. Jones on the last line.
Both sides have played very similar in this last quarter, haven't they? Just chipped the ball around.
Keepings off.
Keepings off, yeah. Exciting stuff.
Bartram kicks it out on the full. Unforced error by Clint Bartram. So let's see what Tui can do. Will he go long and at least try and find someone to take a mark and keep the ball locked in there forward 50. He kicks now, and Max Gawn just climbs up and takes a comfortable mark.
2 goals, 1 to 1 goal 3 in Carlton's favour for the quarter.
Garland chips to Gisberts, who's got the loose player in Jones at half back. So, but again, it's just very stop-start, and for much of the afternoon, perhaps apart from the first quarter, Melbourne's game has been exactly that. Jones kicks to the wing, front and centre Maloney, Watts, Bartram, the left boot this time, and a good mark taken by Martin, having to work a bit. So he comes back inside to Davey, who plays on immediately. That's better. Now Green at the back. Well done by McLean. Got a hand in there to affect the spoil. Scully, tackle, pushed in the back. Free kick. Just a little careless there.
Tired. Dropped
McLean.
He did roll to spoil.
Oh, there's Howe and Howie down there.
Oh, look at the fend off. Look at the fend off.
Bruce free down there, Howie, from you.
The MCG's only big enough for one Howie, and I think it's him.
Nice skirt too.
Gee, I was more impressed with the fend off. Don't argue. And Scully across the face. So another behind to Melbourne. Margin back to 70. They're 7-16.
And Rebecca Judd. Wonder where Oscar is.
He's at training. Simpson
Working on his skills.
Yeah, out to the wing. There's Dad. Back to Scotland. They're waxing it out there, the Blues. Now Robinson. Good chain. They've got loose men at half forward. Simpson's got Murphy if he wants to give. Decides to go to Henderson instead, who goes for broke and breaks.
Good handball by Murphy. Loops it to Robinson, who kicks searching for Warnock, but Rivers does well. More alert, and he tumbles forward, takes the mark and finds Trengove at half-back. Trengove coming in for his 24th disposal, leading the charge for Melbourne on the disposal count. Short kick marked by Jones. Been so often the case, though. Chip kick, and the man forced to go back off the mark and do it all again. This time it's Watts. Now he's called to play on. Betts just evaporated in front of him. Well, didn't evaporate, emerged in front of him, and he gets the free kick. Did he come off the bench, or?
No, he was just standing there. He was just standing there.
He didn't evaporate.
No, he emerged.
So the short kick marked by Scotland, who drives it deep. Now Warnock, a big chance here. He props in front as couldn't take the mark, but the final siren, a comprehensive victory by the Blues by 76 points.
We'll keep our ends up and never know that there we're playing against the famous old dark blues.
This has been a Fox